Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we're going to be going over everything we know about Starfield and asking ourselves, will it be the biggest Bethesda game since Skyrim? Starfield is an up and coming action role-playing game being developed by Bethesda Game Studios and will be published by Bethesda Softworks. The game was first announced during Bethesda's E3 press conference in 2018. The game takes place in a space-themed setting and will be the first new intellectual property developed by Bethesda in over 20 years. But after a couple of delays, Starfield is set to be released on September 6th of this year. Like Skyrim and Fallout, players can switch between a first and third person perspective anytime in the game. Starfield features an open world in the form of an area within the Milky Way galaxy, containing both fictional and non-fictional planetary systems, with players being able to land on more than 1,000 planets. The majority of the landscapes within the game were procedurally generated. They were subsequently modified and handcrafted content was developed around them. The largest city in the game, New Atlantis, is the largest fictional city Bethesda has ever developed. As the player explores the game world, they will encounter various non-playable characters, some of whom may join the player's crew. Such NPCs may aid the player in combat, carrying items, or during confrontations. Speak to other NPCs on the player's behalf. Some may comment on choices the player makes. Starfield is looking like it's going to have a huge emphasis on being able to customise. You won't just be choosing from a lineup of pre-made ships, you'll be designing your entire ship, building out its look, layout and performance of their spacecraft with tons of ship customization options. Using the game's shipbuilding tools, you'll be able to place and customize individual models from different ship manufacturers, each with their own performance attributes. And a similar crafting system will let players modify and customize their arsenal of space firearms. A glimpse of the in-game crafting system showed researchable mods for a submachine gun, offering potential barrel, grip, optic, and muzzle customization options. Starfield's 2022 gameplay reveal gave us our first look at character customization, and we got an even more in-depth look this year. We've seen templates, body shapes and sizes, skin tones and hairstyle choices, and most recently, got a look at the wide variety of individual sliders for building your own explorer. You'll choose a background, defining your character's history. Options include combat medic, bouncer, professor, or homesteader, each one associated with 3 starting skills. If that's not enough role-playing, there is a long list of Starfield traits, another system familiar from past games. These are optional choices for your character that comes with pros and cons. Spaced gives you an increased health and endurance while in space, but decreased on the surface. For instance, according to Todd Howard, these traits are problems you can solve. If you decide a trait's become more trouble than it's worth, there will be side quests to remove them. Some traits include Dream Home. You own a luxurious, customizable house on the peaceful planet. Unfortunately, it comes with a 50,000 credit mortgage with Gal Bank that has to be paid weekly. Kid stuff. Your parents are alive and well, and you can visit them at their home. But 10% of all the money you earn is deducted automatically and sent to them. As always with Bethesda games, we're going to see a lot of familiar mechanics from other IPs like the Elder Scrolls franchise and the Fallout franchise. NPCs can be pickpocketed, shown only in a single frame of the Starfield gameplay reveal. Pickpocket prompt appears when a pirate steps in front of the crouching player character, visible for barely a fraction of a second before the pirate is perforated with space bullets. Lockpicking's back too, or technically digipicking if you're going by the name of Starfield's lockpick equivalent. There's a persuasion minigame, but supposedly more involved the Oblivion's dialogue pie chart. As Starfield lead quest designer Will Sheen says, into the Starfield episode 2, you have to think about what's my risk here. We didn't want it to be a system where there's definitely a right thing to say. There will be recruitable NPC companions as in earlier Bethesda games. They'll assist in combat, and yes, some of them are romanceable. The first companion we learned about was Vasco, but we've also seen a lot more Starfield companions in the Starfield Direct, including Constellation members Sarah Morgan and Barrett. The expeditionary robot may be Starfield's default companion, similar to Dogmeat in Fallout 4. Refurbished to handle the rigours of expeditionary space travel, Vasco sounds like he's more of a workhorse with storage capacity and a variety of gear to aid you in exploration. He still has weapons though, so he'll be able to assist you in a fight with his handy face laser. Also making a return is the famous Adoring Fan from the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. The Adoring Fan is a young and cheerful Bosma commoner and a part of the reward for becoming Grand Champion in the arena. As a follower, the Fan has limited uses. He refuses to fight in combat, instead he runs and tries to hide until the battle is over. This can prove fatal as he may run into more enemies and most likely become critically damaged or killed. When he is not following the hero or when he is waiting for them to return, he can be found at the arena waiting to rejoin the Grand Champion. Starfield's story is anchored in a region of space known as the Settled Systems, a 50 light year radius of human expansion around our own solar system. It's divided up between two major factions, the United Colonies and the Freester Collective, who are at an uneasy peace after a recent war. Players may face other threats including epileptic mercenaries, pirates of the Crimson Fleet, violent spacers, or even the factional religious zealots of House Varun. Also introduced are other Starfield cities and locations, New Atlantis, the capital of the United Colonies, and Aquila City, the capital for the Freester Collective, which is walled to keep out alien predators that are a cross between a wolf and a velociraptor. The latest addition is Neon, the pleasure city that used to be a fishing dock until workers caught a psychedelic fish and the entire area turned more towards nightclubs than angling. And of course it wouldn't be a Bethesda RPG without some clashing factions and associated quest lines to dive into. Constellation, a group of human explorers, seems like the game's main faction. Todd Howard has described the group as like NASA meets Indiana Jones meets the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, a group of people that are still searching for answers. Otherwise, we don't know many specifics, but we've gotten brief descriptions of Starfield's factions that we'll encounter in our space voyages. Starfield's faction quest lines will play a bit more like Skyrim than Fallout 4. In other words, they'll all be independently playable. You should be able to play as you please without locking yourself out of a faction quest line, which was possible for some faction storylines in Fallout 4. But the question was, will this game be bigger than Skyrim? And honestly, I'd like to hope so, but I can only imagine with the state of games recently and with the release and how Fallout 76 went, it could be on the line here. It may be a great game, but will it be better than Skyrim? Probably not. If you enjoyed today's video, please drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next one.